The first night I saw her, I thought she was a hallucination. I had just moved into the old Harrow house on the outskirts of a town called Duskfield, an unmarked speck between pine-blanketed hills and grey silence. My divorce had been messy, my finances worse. This house, ancient but cheap, was a necessary compromise. The window in my bedroom faced the dense woods. That first night, around 3 a.m., I looked up from my book and noticed something strange. A figure. A woman. She stood just beyond the tree line. Not moving. Just watching. I assumed she was a neighbor, maybe lost. When I went outside with a flashlight, there was no one. No footprints in the dew-laced grass. Just the faint smell of ash. I couldn't sleep. Her presence lingered in my thoughts. I set an alarm for 3 a.m. the next night. She was back. Same spot. Same posture. Perfectly still. This time, I didn't go outside. I just stood at the window, watching her watching me. My chest felt tight. I didn't blink for nearly a minute. Then, in a flicker of hesitation, I closed the curtain and backed away. The air in my room suddenly felt colder. I woke up to a faint scratching sound. At first, I thought it was a tree branch against the window. But when I pulled the curtain aside, my breath caught in my throat. She was closer. 10 feet from the glass. I could almost make out her face, cracked, pale skin and eyes too wide. The scratching wasn't from outside. It was coming from inside the walls. The next morning, I went into Duskfield to ask about the Harrow house. People changed when I mentioned it. Blank stares. Awkward smiles. One old woman muttered, "Should have let it stay forgotten." At the local library, I found almost nothing about the property. No building permits, no sale records older than a decade. Only a brief mention in a 1932 newspaper, Harrow property abandoned after fire, claims 3. Survivors deny ownership. Investigation inconclusive. But the house had no fire damage. At least, not that I could see. She was at the window. I never saw her approach. One moment she was in the woods. The next, just outside the glass. She didn't move. Didn't speak. But I heard a low humming. It came from nowhere and everywhere. A tune with no rhythm, like something trying to imitate a lullaby without knowing what comfort meant. I sat frozen in bed. My mouth dry. She stood there till dawn. When I dared to look again, she was gone. I found the door behind a bookcase in the hallway, a narrow crawl space that led to the basement. Dust clung to the steps like skin. At the bottom, old toys were scattered, a scorched doll, a broken tricycle, and a torn blanket stitched with the name, Elsie. When I touched the blanket, the air grew thick with that same humming. From upstairs, I heard footsteps. Heavy. Measured. When I returned, the upstairs lights were off. The window was open. In the attic, I found a trunk sealed with wax and wire. Inside, a journal, its pages warped from heat. They buried her under the house. Not in body, but in memory. Every 9 years, she wakes. And waits. For the one who remembers. She was not born. She was made. Stitched together from the silence they left behind. Her face is a mask. Her eyes are old. And she never blinks. I dropped the book. It fell open to a charred page. One word remained: I drove out of town. Fast. But no matter how far I went, the roads turned back. Gas stations vanished behind me. The radio played static that whispered my name. That night, I woke up in my bed, clothes still wet from rain. She was inside the room, standing beside the closet, closer than ever. The house felt different. Breathing. I could hear it inhale through the vents, exhale through the floorboards. I tried to destroy the journal. It wouldn't burn. Wouldn't tear. I dreamt of a circle of children, chanting nonsense. In the center, a girl with no face. Just skin stretched over nothing. When I awoke, my walls were covered in soot handprints. I called my sister. Told her everything. She fell silent, then said, "You were 6 when the fire happened. You were with them, weren't you? You saw her." Memories surged. The fire. The locked basement. A girl screaming behind the walls. I had opened a door I was told never to touch. And let something out. At exactly 3:12 a.m. every light in the house died. She was at the foot of my bed. Not walking. Not moving. Just there. Closer than skin. Her face twisted and reshaped, mimicking every expression I'd ever made. She wasn't a ghost. She was everything I forgot. Every lie. Every silence. Every door I closed in my mind. She didn't want revenge. She wanted me to remember. The room grew dark. Cold. I couldn't move. Then she spoke. Just once. "Now you live here too. The house is empty again. The townspeople say the man who lived there went mad. Disappeared. The window stays dark now. Except at 3:12 a.m. every 9 nights. When she stands there. Waiting. And watching.